Anderson Cooper, AC 360, CNN weeknights 10 Eastern.
You know, it's interesting. The White House is basically saying that Fat Allen mentioned a worst-case scenario of 100,000 barrels on television on May 2nd, and that may be true. He certainly may have done that early on and maybe a couple of comments on TV. But correct me if I'm wrong. The administration and certainly BP were publicly using that 1,000-barrel-a-day estimate and then 5,000-barrel-a-day estimate for weeks, long after independent scientists came forward with a lot higher estimates.
Absolutely. There was never an agreement on the higher rate. And, you know, of course, we didn't have the preparation we needed anyway from BP early on when that oil came ashore. But those rates were never discussed that were disclosed. And, you know, it's sad. We're sitting here wanting to believe in our federal government, wanting to believe. You know, we're counting on NOAA and all the monitoring they're supposed to be doing out there. And as we hear things like this, who are we to believe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, other questions have been raised now because on August 4th, the White House energy advisor, Carol Browner, came out and said 75% of the oil is already gone, that it's disappeared. And that, you know, a lot of people were like just shocked by that. Today, Press Secretary Gibbs said that maybe she misspoke. The report's critical of that statement. And just last week, an independent scientist from Florida State University said that maybe as much as 50% of the oil is still out there, just basically down on the bottom. Do you have any confidence that we really know how much oil is still out there?
Well, I don't think we want to know, honestly. You know, our crews picked up 13,000 gallons of oil and about 8,000 bags of oily waste last week. Now, they pulled us off the water for another inspection. It's obvious, you know, today they were going to step down our jackup boats. The only crews that are out there finding oil. The contract workers for BP, I got to believe that between the Coast Guard and BP, they don't want to find anything. They want this to be over, and we're still out there picking up oil. And as we said, Anderson, from the very beginning, we're fighting more with BP and the Coast Guard. Here we are again to leave assets in place to fight this oil. There's no written operational plan. The only plan they give us is a transition plan, and they keep wanting us to sign off on there's no visible oil when they continue to pick up oil. I don't understand it. It's mind-boggling to me.
So they're asking you to sign off saying you're not seeing oil, but you're saying you're still seeing oil.
They continue to want us to go from step 2 to step 3, which means they can pull out any assets they want in the transition plan that we signed a month or so ago to leave assets in place through hurricane season. And every day they're ratcheting down, pulling stuff out, and in this thick document they say it gives them the right to do that when there's no oil on the surface. But our crews, the local fishermen, are the only ones picking up oil. Somehow their crews seem not to see anything. It still blows my mind that they've got all these people out there on the payroll not finding any oil, but the local fishermen that they keep trying to downsize keep finding oil.
Let me ask you, this report, in addition to being very critical of the White House, they're also critical of local officials, including yourself. In a section of the report they call the Boom Wars, they write, quote, President Nungesser deplored the lack of available boom and that, quote, directions went out to keep the parishes happy, in quotes, which resulted in operational decisions that may have been politically motivated. They go on to say it was a, quote, serious distraction that took time away from responders' ability to focus on the spill. They were basically saying that, you know, local officials like yourself were, you know, calling for more boom. The White House said, you know, keep those parish presidents happy and the parish officials happy, and that they were basically deploying in boom that in places that it didn't need to go to, and that it was useless and maybe causing more damage in some places. Do you buy that?
Well, no, they're damn liars. And I'm going to tell you this. We never got the first order of ocean boom. The boom they were putting 3 miles off the island kept washing up every night. We told them from day one it was useless, but they put it out there as a dog and pony show. The ocean boom that we asked for, that our Coast Guard guy that we told was in charge, that he said order the boom for President Nungesser, never got our first foot of boom. So that's an absolute lie. That's a dog and pony show. And as we always said, BP and the Coast Guard are putting their story together to best defend their actions. And once again, we're sitting here tonight, still can't tell you, Anderson, who's in charge. Still don't know.
Do you how much water now around Plaquemines Parish is fishable? I mean, are the oyster beds open? What's going on?
Well, the oyster beds, a lot of the fresh water killed those beds. We closed the diversions. We're getting back to where we'll hopefully have a harvest of some oysters this year. There's a lot of fishing grounds open, but there's a lot of unanswered questions. We've had massive fish kills. And yes, it's oxygen to depletion, but is that caused by the oil? Because in the areas where the fish kills are, we have a lot of oil. The oil is surrounded with the dead fish. And it doesn't seem to be getting help from the federal government to test these areas. Only the local wildlife and fishery is assisting us in testing these areas.